Manchester United didn't just win, they terrorised teams. Now, they're a punchline. From Sir Alex to chaos, how did football's most feared club fall this far?
The worst day of your life.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to the 8th of May 2013. And on that day, Sir Alex Ferguson announced that he'd be retiring after 26 years managing Manchester United. It was an end of an era. United, though, lifted their last Premier League title at the end of that season, and things just haven't been the same ever since. But if we discuss the Red Devils' decline, it's almost impossible not to think of that moment when Ferguson switched the bench for the stands. But some United fans would point you to an earlier date, as early as 10 years prior. Enter the Glazers. In March 2003, Malcolm Glazer bought a 2.9% stake in Manchester United. By 2005, he had executed a leveraged buyout of the entire club. The Glazers didn't just buy United, they leveraged it into debt. This controversial takeover sparked mass protests. Fans feared it would drain the club financially, and guess what? They were right. So for 2 decades, the Glazers have overseen a financial model focused more on commercial growth than competitive football. They've appointed directors, executives that never really understood football, and United paid the price. Despite mismanagement, commercial revenue kept growing, but guess what? That has changed too. So let's go to 2024, and the Ratcliffe Era begins. In February 2024, Jim Ratcliffe bought a 28.94% stake in Manchester United. His company, INEOS Group, now controls football operations. Ratcliffe quickly went public and he stated, "There's no money left in the club." Great. He's injected cash but also imposed tough measures, staff layoffs, ticket hikes, and most controversially, plans for a new £2 billion, 100,000 capacity stadium. That sounds stunning, right? New stadium plans always sound great, but how do you build a castle when your foundation is crumbling? While construction looms, United's financial wounds are still wide open. And now, what about what happens on the pitch? So we've discussed United's boardroom issues, but ultimately, what we're interested in is just how one of the most successful teams in the world has left behind the high standards it was renowned for. Both sides of the story are related, the money and the football, but when we speak strictly of sporting decisions, it's fair to say that United have made far too many mistakes in their recent history. So we're going to go back to that doomed 2013 when Alex Ferguson left. Until his departure, the Scottish manager had been a true example of what the word manager precisely meant in old school football. A manager wasn't just a head coach, a manager stood above that, having a say in multiple decisions beyond the day-to-day preparation of the team. And in Fergie's case in particular, this power was reinforced by his character and of course the fact that he had been on the job for so long and achieved incredible success. But then after Fergie, it was a revolving door. We had Moyes, Van Gaal, Mourinho, Ole, Rangnick, and then Ten Hag. Each one was meant to fix the last mistake, and yet none of them were given the time. None of them were given the tools. So yes, United have won a handful of titles since Fergie left, but they haven't been able to build a strong plan from which to look into the future. Any glimmer of consistency has been absolutely destroyed before it could ever evolve into greater things. So, City built an empire, Arsenal built a system, Liverpool rebuilt under Klopp, and then United? Well, they rebooted every single season. They paid £89 million for Pogba, then let him walk, brought Ronaldo back, then benched him, and then signed Sancho for £73 million, and he didn't play in months. Poor performances on the pitch ultimately lead to early exits from European competitions and even low league finishes, where they fail to qualify for Europe altogether. This has an important impact in the club finances and potentially also in the recruitment of players. The Premier League has carried on growing and imposing its financial power over the rest of the leagues, attracting some of the best talent in the world of football. This could be seen as something good for United because they're still getting an important sum of TV revenue, but it also implies that competition within the league is fierce. Clubs that have followed a more clear direction have adapted quicker to modern football and have been able to strengthen their position. But this has not been the case with United. However, Manchester United still remains a huge club. On one hand, this means top players might still be attracted to join such a historic institution, but then on the other hand, this means the pressure remains as high as ever. The Red Devils badge is not an easy weight to carry, and many players have struggled to cope with it. They might have experienced an all-time low at the moment, whilst fearing they could drop even deeper, but the history of football shows that most great clubs eventually do bounce back. So, when and how will Manchester United return to glory? And more importantly, who is brave enough to lead the climb? So that's it for Man United's demise. Please like, subscribe, and let us know what you think of the episode. And guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm Talia Lazarus, and I'll see you next time.